Okay, it looks like I'm here. So I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about the topic at hand. I was trying to make sure that I had a steady connection. That's why I was sitting here quiet, because it seemed like the connection is going in and out for some reason. But I'm just going to go with it. And if it seems like it gets frozen, then I'll go ahead and just end it, and I'll try again. But this is a discussion near and dear to my heart. It's mental health. It's about, see, look, it's going away, y'all, the connection. Anyway, it's about mental health. It's about suicide. It's about fatal attractions and these types of things. And so as it pertains to mental health, okay, so I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to also bring some kind of hope and encouragement to people out there, okay, that has suffered something, right, to do with this topic, okay? I don't proclaim to be an all-knowing expert. I'm just going to talk about it from what I've learned and seen and studied, and just from my own growth and ascension, and just in the name of mental health, like just wanting to be a more balanced person, and then just kind of, putting it out there for awareness, and then so that we can become better people and making better choices, but just understanding that it's real and it's not. When something unfortunate like this happened, okay, let's say, I'm just going to throw out some examples. Let's say you experienced something in a situation in your life where somebody wasn't well. Okay, and I'm not talking about in the same way in which most of us deal with some unwellness, okay, but I'm saying that somebody might have really been unwell. Okay, collective, I'm so hoping that I'm connected here and I'm not wasting my recording here. And let's say in this unwellness, all due respect, right, in this unwellness, that they could have had like a reckless lifestyle. They could have been doing some things, in secret, and not knew how to handle like breakups and rejections and stuff like that. And again, I'm sorry, I'm losing the connection here. They're not able to handle it well. So let's say they were already not all that balanced when you were dealing with them. Okay. Let me make sure. I gotta change this, guys. I'm sorry, because I'm gonna be upset if I can't get it going and upload it to the YouTube. And I want to make sure, because this is important. This is not something that is just la-di-da. No, this is an important topic, and I feel for some of y'all out there, and this is part of why I want to share it. Because some of you out there, if it's not you, it's somebody that has suffered a loss, okay? A loss due to someone that they were not really all that stable to begin with or well, and they lived a kind of a reckless life, and maybe there was a breakup, maybe there was a separation, and they just couldn't handle it, okay? They couldn't handle you bringing something to an end. And if that happened to you, you're left to feel to blame, which is a little bit unfair, okay? It's a little unfair, because this is what kind of happens in these situations. Then you're the one that's left to feel like if someone did that, you're made to feel like it's your fault. Okay, if you hadn't have broken up with them, then they wouldn't have, been reckless. They wouldn't have accidentally, overdosed. They wouldn't have, You're left to have to feel like it's your fault because you made a decision to end a relationship. And that's not fair to you all out there. I'm not saying that you did everything right and perfect, but it's kind of unfortunate how when these unfortunate events happen to us and people that we were dealing with, that we're looked at, we're the ones, okay? You're the one, you're the blame. Because if you would have just kept things as they wanted it, if you would have just stayed, if you would have just, you know, whatever, then they wouldn't have yada yada. But that's not true. It's not fair. See, this is also a lesson about why should we be careful of our connections, because, and I'm not being disrespectful with this at all, it's because of this type of stuff too. Because you end up becoming some type of a mental health physician and manager, and which is not it's above your pay grade. Okay? I don't know if I'm still here, but hopefully I am. That, you know, that weight shouldn't be on your shoulder. Okay? But see, this is also why I feel like the lessons we take from it, even though it's so painful, it's unfair, unfortunate, if anything happens like this and it ends in this kind of devastation collective, I'm telling you, I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm also sorry that you're being blamed because someone else wasn't well, and because, you know, being made to feel like you didn't have a right to choose to say, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay? This is why we talk about this stuff all the time, relationships. Why we need to be careful, because though, help me out, what's up with the connection? Though things could be fun sometimes with these very types of people we meet out there and about, okay, whether we met them at work or we met them, you know, wherever we met them. And often people that are unwell like that, sometimes they have jobs, they be functional, okay? A lot of them are very charismatic, and a lot of them are very fun, okay? And so it's easy to get entangled, but the danger of getting intimate and close with people that may have some serious unwellness is stuff like what we're talking about, ending in devastation. Okay, because in normal life, in situations and breakups where people go through life and folks decide, hey, we're going to part ways. We're going to part ways. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, whatever. Though it's painful, right? In the normal scenarios, it does not result in somebody getting reckless and accidental overdoses or suicide or taking their lives, doing things to get attention and to take them out of here. Okay? That doesn't happen in the healthier types of scenarios. People do be heartbroken, yes. They may say some few choice words, sure. Disappointed, yeah. You know, but essentially they just kind of go on to, they work on their healing, they rebuild. Eventually when they're ready, they pick themselves up, and then they get back out there. You know, it may take a while. So I hope this bringing awareness to this type of stuff help people to become more mindful of their life. Like the next time when we're just out and about and we're bored, or, you know, we're just wanting a good time, and we're just, you know, wanting attention, and we're just woo-de-woo. Like, hopefully we get to a place of maturity to be more mindful, like there's cause and effect. You need to know who that person is. You need to know what you're dealing with on a totality, okay? Because your actions and choices are going to have a cause and effect, as are theirs. And you may be entangling yourself with something that's unhealthy, and then when you're ready to move on, they're not ready to let you move on. And then, God forbid, if something happens to them because they don't know how to handle you deciding to move on, then you're left to feel like it is your fault because you decided you didn't want to be with them. And I hope you guys are here and can hear, but that's just not fair. That's a lot of weight for someone to have to carry based on someone else's behavior and conduct and decisions. That's a lot of weight. Because what does it say? So it mean that you're supposed to tie your life to somebody so that they won't kill themselves? So that they won't self-destruct? so that they won't do something reckless to your children or themselves or someone else. And you know, instead of us being flattered, you know, because it depends on where we've come from and our conditioning and mindset and what energy we ourselves are in. But thinking twice about being flattered because somebody is obsessed with you. We need to question why, you know, what we get our jollies off. Because that may be something, some dangerous stuff we're tapping into. Because when it goes very bad, God forbid, right? When it goes very bad, then you're the one that's looked at. If you were the one that was changing your life and changed up the game and made some decisions and decided you didn't want nothing to do or no part of something, then you're the one that's made to look like you're the big bad wolf, you're the big meanie monster because someone else wasn't well enough to be healthy to deal with their disappointment properly, to deal with their heartache properly, to deal with their loss properly. And I'm telling you guys right now, that's manipulation. I'm sorry, but it's true. That's a form of manipulation. Then you'll have people that want to manipulate you based on, okay, if, like I said, in those examples, if people accidentally took themselves out of here, then the people left are trying to manipulate you, making you feel indebted like you were the one that killed them. Like you were the one that told them to do whatever reckless thing they did to, you know. And you don't have to accept that, by the way. You know what I'm saying? You yourself are going to have to process and deal with the loss. But it's worse that, you know, then you got people trying to capitalize off of the loss to make you feel indebted to them in some way, while you're trying to process the fact that though this was crazy and you ended things, you never would have wanted somebody to take themselves out of here, though, behind nothing. If we care for folks and love folks, you know, this is why I say it, the best thing you can do for people when you discover, you have to first and foremost remove yourself and then put up a healthy boundary. But if they're the type that go about, you know what I'm saying, always barking or making threats that they're going to kill themselves or they're going to, you know, if people do that, you need to report that, because you're not, I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to stop them. You're not here to be the police of their life. To stay around so that they don't do nothing crazy. That's not fair to you. It's not even really fair to them because they need help that's outside of your pay grade. And I'm not downplaying nobody's heartache or nobody's disappointment. I've lived long enough and I've gone through enough stuff to understand, okay, what it's like to feel devastated, what it's like to go through a divorce, what it's like to go through, you know, a breakup and feel like you're left with a kid. You know what I'm saying? Hello, I raised my son. Listen, I know what it's like to feel like something was an injustice or thought something was going to be happily ever after and it wasn't. Y'all think on Bloomy Bloom ain't went through situations where I thought it was going to be happily ever after, where they promised me forever and ever, amen? I'm just saying. And it's more than one. It ain't just one time in my life. I've had several, dear. I've had several men swear on God's green earth they'll never leave. They ain't going nowhere. They promise. Whoop-de-whoop. But that's humans. That's not a guarantee. Because they'll get another hair up their butt the next week and they'll be singing a whole nother song. They were not these men that I'm referring to, and I'm not giving them any excuses for what their personal conducts were, but all I'm saying is that, they were not the managers of my life to make sure that I don't go off and do nothing crazy. Okay? It wasn't for them to, well, I'm gonna stay with her so that she won't whoop-de-whoop. They was not my physician, my psychiatrist, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not fair. Whether I feel like they played me or not. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Whether I feel like they played me, and I done been plenty played, okay? But whether or not I feel like they played me or not, that's still not their job. I'm to take my heartache and my devastation and get the help or whatever it is I need to do with my pain. And it's not fair if God, let's say I wasn't and then I did something. It wouldn't have been fair if, my people or his people or whoever looked at them and blamed them. If it wasn't for you, she wouldn't have done. No, she did that because she wasn't well to begin with. And probably shouldn't have been in a relationship with you because that kind of energy was already in her. And I'm sorry. But hopefully this helps us to take these types of matters a little bit more seriously than we have. And instead of we've been looking at the classifications that this culture, this 3D reality, we've looked at that to determine what we're classifying as mentally ill and crazy. And a lot of us got it backwards. Instead of looking at somebody's personal character, their tendencies, what you've come to personally experience with them, you evaluating that, right? So that you can make your proper call on, is this something that's woo, okay? Because it is unfortunate. This should be taken serious. That's why they have stuff like Al-Anon, and they got all of these different places that's supposed to be preventative and helpful. So the best thing you can do for yourself, if you found yourself in these situations, first and foremost, you got to help yourself. Okay? And then start reporting. Keep a handy recorder on yourself. Because if people like to just do that to play with you, because they know that they'll make you shut up or they'll make you stay and they'll make you this, keep that on you so that when you go be like, look, I'm not responsible for this. This person keeps threatening to kill themselves. They keep threatening to kill others. And if they try to lie, then here it goes. Boom. Because that's taken the weight off of you. Okay? And so that you can, you've done your part in the name of trying to hey, putting the warnings out there. But you can't make people listen to you. If their family don't want to hear it, that you can't make them listen to you. Sometimes they're a part of stuff too anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is why you have to just be like, nah. Because I may end up in something and then here you go. When I'm done, when I'm ready to ascend, where I'm ready to go on with my life, when I'm ready to maybe put an end to whatever this connection was, they're not going to want to let me go. And who wants to live the rest of their waking days in a new age form of slavery because somebody don't agree that you want to go on? The lives that get affected when we play with this type of stuff. So the next time, collective, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here. I'm just trying to help y'all bring awareness and some wisdom. Okay? The next time you're bored out of your mind. The next time you're horny. The next time, You're just wanting attention. Think before you entangle your life. The next time you share and exchange your sexual energy with someone, think before you entangle your life. And this is probably the most loving thing you can do, not only for yourself, but believe it or not, for these people. Because you appeasing them is not helping. You further feeding their inner child wounds, their codependency issues, their abandonment issues, and so forth. That's not helping. That's just keeping the issue breeding. And that's not what love is. Love is like you release yourself, because people, we're all here to be healing and ascending and dealing. And no one should be being made responsible for adults to do or to not to do. To go and get the help we need, the resources we need, whatever it is, deal with our pain, our trauma, our upsetness. We don't stay with people because we don't want them to kill themselves or somebody else. This is not a deep bond. That's something not right. And if this story resonates with you at all, okay, if you have suffered a loss here recently due to some type of accidental suicide, due to breaking up with somebody, I want to tell you right now that was not your fault. I know you are grieving too, because it's still a loss. But you are not to blame. I invite you and encourage you to get the help you need. Okay? Go, if you're feeling guided, to go see a therapist or a counselor or a grief counselor, someone that's disconnected, not partial or involved in any way, shape, form, or fashion with, you know what I'm saying, the families that were involved. I invite you to go and get some impartial, healthy, higher vibrational help with processing that type of grief. Okay? And releasing the load of, you know, people dumping on you, making you feel guilty because you decided to walk away. Let's say you had a fight. Let's say something happened. People have a tendency to do that. Something, a breakout. This could have been a whole pattern of a relationship, but then when this individual decides to go out there and overindulge or do something silly and it leads to some type of an accidental death, then it's your fault now. But this kind of toxic stuff has been going on. People be wanting you just to stay the doormat, the trash can, or whatever it is that you were, that was continuing to allow people just to keep acting that way. Because they're in pain and they're just looking at, because the person's not here anymore. Instead of processing their grief properly and taking off the blinders and accepting, you know what I'm saying, the fact that this person had some toxic tendencies that has landed them there. Instead of looking for someone to blame. That's just something humans classically do. Looking for someone to blame instead of owning the fact that, hey, no, we got to be honest about this situation here. It was already a toxic relationship. Arguing and fighting was a standard. Okay? This person got upset because possibly this wasn't going to be able to go on any further. And so I'm sorry if you were left to have to take care of children, you know what I'm saying, on your own. Unfortunately, if, you know, these individuals had children. What the hell? Did you guys hear that? That's crazy, yo. I don't know if y'all heard it, because it's like going back and forth. That was strange as hell. I'm sorry though, okay? And hopefully you can get, you know, I don't know if you have the children, if they're in your care, if this type of situation, get all the help you need. Let this be a motivation to become even healthier, because if you want to break these types of, patterns and stuff, right? But I wish y'all well, and I hope you all heal, get the boundaries, the protection, the help that you need. But I just wanted to encourage y'all and put this out there and let y'all know I'm going to be that voice to say it is not your fault. We can't manage people. If I were to do something today, let's say I were to do something, and my argument could be very well, oh, I'm finna do something because I'm mad because I came from a toxic family, or, my people did, toxic stuff to me and my kid, or like I could go there and use all these stories and they didn't treat me right, or they stole this, or they set me up, or they woo-de-woo. And if I wasn't in my right, healthy mind and heart, I could, use that as, a reason for me to get reckless. And then if I accidentally take myself out of here, right? But the truth of the matter is, if that did happen, guess that is actually my fault. It's not to say that these people that did the stuff they did, they're at fault for their conduct. Certainly, they're going to have to deal with that. But because people don't want to deal with me no more, or I don't want to deal, like that kind of stuff, it's my fault. It's still me. It's still me. It's the lack of getting the proper help that I need to deal with the betrayal or the pain that I may feel. Right? So that's all I'm really saying about that. I'm not saying that no matter what we've all done, and we don't have some consequences to face based on our conduct. But we're not responsible for people choosing to do this kind of stuff. Okay, they're reckless, they overdrank, they had a car accident, they overdosed, they got mad, they whoopty. We're not responsible for that. These people had issues that should have been being dealt with long ago. And nobody was doing what was necessary. Everybody that was being around them had been enabling things, doing nothing to truly help. So I'm just saying, take that weight off your shoulder to process your grief, because you got enough to deal with. And if you're left with a child, for some of you, okay, then you really need to get away from toxic people. Okay, you super duper. Okay, because this stuff never ends. And unfortunately, if these were extended family members and friends, and so, you really need to get away, get you and your kid, and you may have to start from scratch, but I can certainly relate to that, because me and my kid had to do the same. My grown kid, that's my grown kid. Okay, but y'all know why. Sometimes you have to do that, okay? And then from there on, make better choices. Because, one thing you can do, because remember how earlier I said becoming the person that you wished you had when you were a child? And it's basically like becoming someone that does the right things, stand up to bullies, stand up to abuse, stand up to toxicity, becoming an example, not just somebody who's saying shit out the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for your rights to live, your children's rights, and being there, not just being a parent in a technicality, but ain't never there, just always gone, but then calling themselves a parent. No, you were a birther and a sperm donor. You know what I'm saying? But becoming one that's like, no, I'm going to love on my children, and not with just buying them shit, but taking care of them, not putting them around toxicity. That's our responsibility, by the way. See, it's not just about, making sure they got formula Pampers and, it's about, look, learn your lessons. You don't need to be bringing Sally Sue this one or John Joe this one, because you bored. Because people ain't right. I had to learn this painfully too, collective. Don't think I didn't. painfully. People fucked up. People don't be, you know what I'm saying? And they write, you know, bull. And whatever you're doing is going to be directly affecting your child. Whoever you're entertaining, whoever you're allowing in your space, whoever you are allowing near your child, whoever you are, you know what I'm saying, entangling your body with, because you're going to be picking up on whatever their problems are. Whatever energy they carry. So, you know, it's like, this is why it ain't about being prudish. It's just about becoming people of wisdom and valuing ourselves and our children and understanding it's not that deep to have some fun and a party. Everybody wants somebody, but we don't want it to the detriment or of our health and our well-being and that of our children. We don't want it to the extent in which something ends in a tragedy because someone wasn't right and we didn't take out the time to properly evaluate something, and then somebody go and mess around. You know what I'm saying? And now everybody looking at you like you done something. That's not fair. Every last one of us on this earth have a right to end things. And I'm going to say that until the wheels fall off. We have a right to decide. I'm not saying people will agree. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it's not going to come with something. But as a free moral agent, you have a right to change your mind and you have a right to decide. If you're no longer happy and you no longer want to do something, whether this is a partnership, a friendship, a lovership, it may not be kosher, it may not be what people want to hear, but I'm telling you, you have a right. And should not be being made to feel guilty because you decided you didn't want to anymore. And when you decide you didn't want to anymore, the people that could not handle it properly go off and do something dumb. And then they're looking at you. People, it's the same with anything collective. People hell-bent on doing spell work against you, hell-bent on trying to come against you and kill you. And then lo and behold, let's say, God forbid, that they end up getting this energy back at them or at, you know, as they're on their way, you know, whatever it is. And then something happens to them and then people looking at you. You see how that is? How twisted that is though? Looking at you like you were the one that told them to get in the car and drive reckless and to be mad and call themselves going to get revenge. Like you were the one that told them to go and overdrink or mix the pills, or you know what I'm saying? Like you did that. And I get people's grief, but we're supposed to be dealing with our grief and not being clouded in judgment about it because we are hurting. It's like, okay, let's be honest about who these people were and let's be honest about what they were doing. And stop blaming the people in which they were possibly attacking, stealing from, trying to kill, trying to keep imprisoned. Like it's their fault. Hopefully, moving forward, we make the change. People aren't going to like it, collective, but you got to get okay with people not being okay. That's step number one. You're going to have to get to a place of being okay with people not being okay with you making changes in your life. Get somewhere safe. Keep records of everything that's going on in your life, especially if you know you have people that are trying to get vengeance on you for something that someone else did to themselves. But report all foul play. Keep trace of that. Be ready. Be on guard. You don't need to be paranoid, but just be ready. Because you know what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with. And I am so sorry for your losses in this way. I'm sorry that things ended in these devastational ways that you could have been trying to prevent, but there was going to be no preventing. This is above our pay grade. So when you start feeling like, if I would have just stayed and I should have, so that's basically a martyr and a sacrifice. You're saying that you should have sacrificed your life so that they wouldn't have took theirs. And that's not fair to you. And guess what? You have no idea. Chances are, depending on the level of toxicity, it could have ended up being you anyway. Staying connected to toxic, unwell, and unhealthy things like that. As this year ends, I certainly hope y'all get the healing that you need, the comfort that you need, okay? I really do. I hope you get it. I hope you find a sacred, safe space of people that's not trying to exploit your situation, because it's unfortunate that this is what people do. I went through that. When you go to people for help and they exploit your vulnerability, I've been through that. So hopefully you guys find some impartial, people don't have an ulterior motive that's not trying to poison your life and tie up your life and get you stuck. Hopefully you're able to find some decent help and a safe space so that you can heal. You and your children. And then from there, creating a better world. Take your wisdom lesson with you. Take your wisdom lesson. Okay? Things are changing. And as we're getting older, for those of us, it's not the time for us to be so worried about playing around. Because it's a whole nother game. People selling their souls out there. People doing things with weird groups. People are, doing whatever they can, whatever it takes to survive, for clout, for money, to, baby trap, to get, it's all-time high. So just be wise with your energy. And when you're horny, I've been saying this because I'm not trying to downplay that we don't have physical things, okay? I'm not saying that. And I'm not talking about being prudish. Okay? But if it comes down to that and you trying to, okay, well, do masturbate, and don't masturbate to people that you're trying to free yourself from. I'm going to have a video about that. Because that kind of thing, using your mind and masturbation, is a form of manifestation. So ask for some help to where to put your mind in another kind of place. But you certainly don't want to be masturbating to people that you are really trying to clear your energy from, or you're really trying to free yourself from. Okay? Because then you'll be mad. Because then you'll wonder why, like, a week later or 3 days later they pop up or something like that. You'll start to be like, oh, nah. Okay? Because your mind is powerful. Your words are powerful, more powerful than you think. Especially if you're a light one. So be very careful about your sexual energies. Okay? Try to use it to create. Make some music. Write some songs. Right? Some poems. Paint. Shit. Y'all know me. I like to make jokes, but I be like, shit. Something. Shit. I'll go outside. Let's do some hopscotch, bitch. Old school jack shit. Anything to try to get more constructive with my time and my energy, and try to figure out creative ways to relax and unwind. Okay? Alright. Hang in there. I told you guys a lot was going to happen towards the end of the year, and I'm fully aware that a lot has. And to those of you who lost people, I'm sorry. My condolences. Sending love and light to the innocent lives that they left behind, the innocent souls, the innocent lives. To you, But you're not God, so you do not take on the burdens of others, the responsibilities of others. You're not God in that sense, okay? That's what I mean by that. You're not here to be their psychiatrist or their rescuer. We're all here to work out our perspective lives. And when people go through loss and grief, low vibrational type of individuals go into amplified emotional manipulation to play on your grief. So remove yourself and put your priority on taking care of yourself. And if you have a child in your care that you're taking care of, let that be your goal, not somebody else. All right? You're not here to break your back, to fix what other people did. Sounds cold, but it's not. It's not. The destruction, the devastation. Love on you. Love on your kid.